What's going on, family? I tune out for a couple days, a week or so, and all of a sudden I go to tune back in and the language look different. Threw me a curveball. I'm like, man, spent the last few minutes messing around trying to figure out where I was at. Am I streaming or am I just going live? So give me a second here. I'm about to boot up. Just gonna chop it up, talk about this webinar I'm doing in the Rising. We got anybody on there? Tell me where you at. What's on your mind? We about to talk about this welding webinar I got coming up in tomorrow. So a lot of people want to know what's so important about welding that we need a webinar. Well, that's what we're gonna talk about. I'm gonna break it down. We're gonna talk about the benefits of welding. Well, I got that one on too. We're gonna put that one on. That don't need to be on. I should have cut on what was this here? Yeah, we're gonna talk about welding. Tomorrow I got a webinar coming up on welding, and it's a partner with a educational institution, I'll just say that. And they asked me, can I get anybody else to be on the webinar? And I'm like, hey, we can open it up. Hold on one second, fam. Let me fix this. Go back. I was like, excuse me. I was like, sure. No worries. Come on, man. I can put something together, invite some people out, whoever want to come out and participate. Raise some money for the young people as well. So whoever will be participating in this webinar at $79, that funds are gonna go somewhere to help our young people and to help with the TJ's toolbox. Y'all know I've been working with these young people from day one. So because I've been working with the young people, it opened the door to where we got sponsors coming on board who wants to let me do what I do and go talk to these young people. So, it don't get no better than that. Give me a second, y'all. I'm loading up. We're about to get ready to talk about give me a second here. About to get ready to talk about, maybe I should switch this. Can y'all see me over there? We're about to get ready to talk about welding. What's so important about welding? It's another trade that people tend to look down on, like many. So I'm going to break it down, talk about it as lightweight as possible because I don't want to give away the whole webinar before tomorrow. But yeah, I'll be talking about welding and all the benefits that comes with it. So give me a second, y'all. Let me finish loading this up. Y'all know I'm over here doing the most with all these devices. I haven't been on here in a minute, at least a week, I believe. Someone told me, "Where have you been?" I was like, for me, days fly by and weeks fly by at a time. For most people, it probably go one day at a time. But I blink my eye, I done lost weeks. It's just like, man, So what we got on here, matter of fact? Janet, how you doing? Danielle, how you doing? Anna, how you doing? King Eddie in the house. What's up, fam? Where y'all at? Type in your city, your state, your country. Let me know where you at so we can see how far this reach is. YouTube, where you at? Give me one more second. I'm gonna load up this last Facebook page and I'm gonna go in on welding and some trades so that we can better help our family out. We got a lot of people who out here sleeping on things that create millionaires. Y'all hear what I just said? We got people who sleeping on things, careers that create millionaires because they're not called careers. They just call it a trade. Oh, he just has a trade. She just has a trade. I feel sorry for that person. Well, let me tell y'all something. We're gonna really go in on that. Okay, hold on one second now. Somebody just signed up here. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna go in on that topic because a lot of people, y'all been deceived. We got some people doing great, and then we got other people out here having a hard time. So it's opening the door for me to talk about, the things that I do. I'm getting a lot of phone calls. I'm communicating with a lot of educational institutions, a lot of homeschools, and I'm just frankly loving it, y'all. I'm loving it because, we need things that create businesses. Shadell, how you doing, family? We need things that create businesses. We got enough in job. We got enough people who looking for jobs. We need people who looking to start businesses because they got the knowledge. TJ talking on webinar. All righty. I'm done with that. There we go. Boom. We live on the last phone. We good to go, y'all. I'm ready to start talking about it. Denver in the house. How you doing, fam? Sorry about this last minute notice, y'all. I've been trying to send y'all some emails out, let y'all know I'm about to go live. Matter of fact, I didn't even share that on Facebook that I'm live. Let me share that on it. Oh, I can do that right here. Excuse me, YouTube. I'm sharing this real quick. Don't mind me. Okay, I'm back. I had to share that on YouTube real quick. Facebook real quick. And I'm gonna share it on LinkedIn. People be like, why don't you never share it? Why don't you do this? And why don't you do that? And I'll be like, this stuff is more than a notion, family. I'm not complaining about it. I'm happy to be able to do these things. But it's a real educational situation for me. Mary, how you doing, fam? So what I'm doing is, y'all know I deal with a lot of schools. I stay up in these schools trying to get the right information, give the right information to our young people. So sometime I got to go arm wrestle with the directors and the principals and the districts and people like that because they feel like, hey, nothing wrong with letting our 10-year-olds wait till they go to college before we actually start teaching them something real. And I'm like, there's something very wrong with that. We need to start teaching these young people a whole lot of things right now. They respect me, they appreciate me, they say I'm a sharp guy. And I explained that to them I explained that is attributed because I had a lot of good information given to me at a very young age. No one waited for TJ to grow up and say, okay, wait till you turn 19 or 18, then you go off to college, and then we're going to teach you some good stuff that you can use. They were like, well, why are you sitting around waiting to go to higher education, TJ? We want to teach you how to change tires on the car. We want to teach you how to uh, uh, build a house. We want to teach you about how to hang a ceiling fan. We want to teach you about how to do a tune up on the car, change the oil, change the brakes. We want to teach you a bunch of stuff. So come over here and earn some money while you're doing it at 9 and 10 years old. So a decade later, when I turned 19, I was running circles around people. To me personally, a lot of people felt there wasn't no need for me to go to college because look how it turned out. Look what I've accomplished. All because I had early knowledge given to me at a very young age. So that's what we're doing now. That's what I started TJ's Toolbox. So what's going on now? How you doing, Janice? How you doing, Jamal? What's going on now is I've been partnering with schools and they're bringing me on board to talk about, come on and help with curriculum. Y'all see, I just wrote my first book. Where is it? It's around here somewhere. Hold on. I'm over here signing books. That's become my new trade. How to signing books. I'll be signing so many books and shipping them. People be looking at me crazy. But anyway, Monetizing Gentrification, my first book I wrote after I traveled the nation in 2018. I went to 15 states, over 15 states, some of them more than once, finding out what's going on around the country and how can I help. What's going on with the Black community around America and what can I do to help make it better? So I found out, like I knew, a lot of people didn't know about real estate. A lot of people didn't know about business. A lot of people don't know anything other than higher education. So when I went around country on my tour and I started speaking on the topics of automotive, real estate and all these things, it turned out I was the first person that done that or that knows that those type of things from the level that I know them from. There's a lot of people that know about real estate, but there's not a lot of people that got the knowledge that I have and the overstanding that I have it in. So that's why I wrote the book, and that's why it's like a #1 seller. No, it's not on Amazon, but you do see me really hustling this book, and I'm doing very well with the book, y'all, because people are supporting it because they're saying they haven't seen anything like that before. People come in, you got multiple books talking about higher education, you got books talking about how to fill out job applications and all this kind of stuff, but not too many people really want to talk about business. And then the people who talk about business never really ran a business. So now we've been weeding through all of that riffraff, all those things that's been going on, and people are looking back at me like, well, TJ has been doing this for decades, and he's been talking about this for quite some time. So anyway, trades. We're gonna talk about the trades, family. Tomorrow rising at 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is West Coast time, and 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be doing a webinar for some young people. I'll be tapped into a school, and the school will be screening a webinar of me talking about the welding industry. Why is that? Brother Roby, how you doing, fam? Chuck, how you doing? Chooksbo, how you doing? Palace, how you doing? So I'll be talking about this webinar that's coming up. I'll be teaching them about welding. Tomorrow is going to be one of many. So you'll see that I'm going to be doing some early rising webinars because I got schools that's interested in taking these webinars. So they're going to be gathering up the young people in the room. And when I say young, I mean like 16, 17, 18. What I was told, middle school through high schoolers will be attending and sitting in their classroom. So I'll be streaming live to some middle schoolers and high schoolers talking about welding. How about that, y'all? How about that? Why is that? Because they discovered that they have a large number of young people who are dropping out of school in middle school or junior high school, as some people know it. And then they have a lot of young people who ain't even going to college. We realize that it's become a situation where It's not about trying to put everybody in college. It's about trying to keep these young people in school, period. Y'all hear what I just said? It's not about trying to get the young people to go to college. It's about trying to keep them in junior high school or middle school so that they can graduate and go to high school so that they can get through that and go to college. But they're starting to face reality of realizing we have a large number of homeless students showing up at school with clothes in their backpacks. It was unfortunate. It is very unfortunate that one of the schools here in Los Angeles, California, is the number one school for homeless students in the country. So now we got schools starting to realize that, okay, well, maybe we really need to address the problem because they've been pushing in the wrong direction for quite too long, and we need to get these trades back into the schools. I'll give y'all a news report. We got to Centennial High School, the school I went to, graduated from. We got the mechanic class and a whole lot of trades put into Centennial High School. And y'all see, I do field trips with them. I go up there and speak to them on a regular. You know what I'm saying? I do spend a lot of time with that high school so that we can make sure that auto mechanic class, it stays in place and it's a successful class. So I need y'all to start enrolling y'all children in these automotive classes, family, because these automotive classes, the students are being hired straight out of school, out of high school, family, and going in making 30, 40, $50,000 a year. So anyway, what are we doing here? We realized I've always known that we got to start teaching these young people at a very young age, giving them a fair chance at life. So, we got people waking up. I'm an expert at the trades because I use all the trades. My welding, I use my wood shop classes, I use my auto mechanic classes, I even use my sewing class, family. So that is those trades are very lucrative. So again, tomorrow I'll be doing a webinar. It's only $79. The money will go to a good cause so I can continue doing what I'm doing. Bruva, how you doing, fam? You know what I'm saying? So I'll be doing my webinar so for these young people at these schools, and I'll probably be doing them regularly. So people wondering why is it at 10 o'clock in the a.m. It's because that's school time. That's school time here in California. So I'm looking to do more webinars. Y'all know this technology is amazing to where I don't necessarily have to go out of town anymore. I mean, as much as I used to, I still go out of town, but I don't have to go out of town. People like TJ, you can sit down whenever you're sitting down long enough, we could do a webinar and you can be sitting in your office and streaming on the other side of the planet. I'm like, okay, I know that, but I'm like, can y'all get all the young people in the room? The younger people? They're like, yeah, because I already did a college like that. I spoke to a college in Africa, South Africa, a year ago or so, and a room full of African people sitting there listening to me talk about the automotive industry. And it was profound, y'all. They was like, wow, an African American that knows about cars. Y'all hear what I just said? An African American that really knows about cars, that can build a car from the ground up. They were shocked because that's something that we don't learn. They thought a lot of black people, what they think, we're rappers, we're gangsters, we're doctors, lawyers, engineers. So blacks that are mechanics that know how to fix cars, they're like, wow, okay, we heard of black attorneys and black doctors, but we never really met black guys that are mechanics that know how to build cars in America. So that conversation kind of bugged me out, tripped me out. We doing good, fam. How you doing, Caleb? We doing real good out here, Probably because you on the wrong page. That's why it's only 3 followers, because you on the wrong page. But anyway, yeah, so we turn around giving them. It's a lot of black doctors, a whole lot of them African too. A lot of brilliant black doctors out here. Stephen, how you doing? Stephen, how you doing, fam? There's a lot of brilliant black doctors. It's a lot of brilliant black doctors out here, so much that some people get uncomfortable because they see we doing big things out here. We've always been into everything, family. So it's pretty interesting that when I travel around the country and I communicate with people around the world, the conversations, the things that they're surprised that I know about, they be like, you know about automotive? And they'd be kind of shocked. They'd be like, you know, but you build lowrider, black people build lowriders? I'd be like, yeah. They'd be like, really? I thought that was only for Hispanics and stuff like that. I'd be like that. It just trips me out the perception that people have because so many people have been lying to us over the decades, giving us this disinformation, trying to discourage people from giving up the game. You know, they try to remove the value of real information. You know, like for example, I was in a great conversation with some educators, and I was asking them. I said, when someone go, I look at my Facebook and I swear every day is something on there about somebody, some young person getting $1.6 million in student loans, and now they got all this money to go to college. I said we put so much emphasis on going to college. We put so much emphasis on things that really don't create jobs. If you go in and say, hey, he's going to be he's going to go to college, he got accepted at this particular college, the whole room goes crazy, everybody's on board, everybody's sticking their hand in their pocket, want to donate a little money. I don't have a problem with college either, family, but I do have a problem with when I turn around, that same person and someone sitting next to that person in the same room will say, hey, I just started a business. And everybody will look at them kind of weird, like, oh, well, good luck with that. It's like, it's hard to you know, do good in business. And I just look at it like, really? It's like, but you're not guaranteed to get a job out of college. You're not guaranteed. You hear what I just said, y'all? It don't matter how much you pay. You are not guaranteed to get a job. There's not going to be somebody sitting there waiting on you, telling the teacher as soon as he graduates, he need to come work for us. That's not happening, y'all. That's not the norm. That it may be happening. Matter of fact, it is happening in automotive, but at our HBCUs, that is not common. You know what I'm saying? That is not common. So fast forward the story. So to fast forward the story, it opens up the door for a lot of happy faces. People like, wow, they did not know because they're like, introduce us to these new educational ideas. Okay, welding. You saying that we're making money welding, TJ? People are making money starting businesses, and they'd be shocked. And it's really discouraging. It's like I come in and I start talking about entrepreneurship. I show them a magazine. Look, I was in this magazine and they almost faint. Like, what? You're in a magazine from working on cars? I'm like, yeah. You work on car. I thought Hispanics, blah, 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 was the only ones that's doing lowriders. And every time I go to the dealership, I always see Hispanics. I never knew African Americans worked on cars. I'd be like, you know, just the perception that's out there, family. But then, like I said, I blame these schools because I was in the schools talking about it with the teacher. And the teacher was like, yeah, you're absolutely right. There is no emphasis on entrepreneurship. When someone comes in and say they have a business idea and they're going to go start their business, there's no real support because most of the teachers have came from educational institutions and now they're working for educational institutions. So they don't have a story about how they did very well selling, you know, starting their business or something like that. So it takes for a person like me, it takes for real entrepreneurs to go into the school systems and say, hey, yeah, I did this, I did that, you know, and they'd be like, wow, you were in the magazine. And then, you know, what really trips them out is when I say I wrote a book. I pull out my book on them, they'd be like, wow, you wrote a book? They'd be shocked. You didn't go to school, you didn't get a degree, you don't have like you have to have a doctorate to write a book. And it's just the perception, family. So anyway, it opens up the story to say, now the light is being shed. You have trucking companies hiring convicted felons. Y'all hear what I said? Remember, I did the paper, not the paper. I did the article. I did the Facebook Live, the YouTube Live, talking about Walmart paying $90,000 to the trucking people, to people to come drive trucks for them, trying to pull all the seasoned truckers to them so that they can turn around and use those, so that they can keep making their money. So now you have another situation where the trucking industry has gotten so bad. They said, you know what? We ain't finna play the convicted felony game. We don't care what you did. You got a felony, so what? Come on in and we'll hire you because they are desperate for truck drivers. So let's talk about that, family. People that are let's say industries that are desperate for employees do not put a lot of restrictions on bringing them in there. So, for example, welding, there's no big restrictions on welding. They need more welders. Automotive, there's no restriction on automotive because they need more automotive people. Construction, there's no restrictions on construction because they need more people. America has been set up to put all of our young people through a university, which universities don't teach construction, don't teach what is it called, automotive, and they don't teach a lot of things. So fast forward the story, these things are messing with the market. People are having a hard time. And now these business owners, they're starting to get serious about it. Okay, well, look, y'all sending everybody off to a university. I don't have nobody to get these products over here. So I'm willing to pay $90,000. I'm willing to move away and start hiring convicted felons. I don't want to play these games with y'all talking about don't hire no felons. They look, we don't got enough people. We can't run ourselves out of business while y'all play these games. They like a felon that been in jail when he was a young person. He can drive a truck. He can swing a hammer and do all of that. So what? He did that when he was 18 years old. Now it's like, in light of all the madness that's going on in the news, with all these police doing whatever it is they doing, now people are saying, well, maybe he really didn't do what he's accused of doing, because I saw some videos on Facebook, because I saw some stuff on YouTube where it was a lot of shadiness going on. So now people are opening their eyes up to say, maybe these people really are innocent and these people are being harassed. So let's go ahead and open the door up and waive all these restrictions. We don't care about that because we'd rather make money than be out of business. So anyway, fast forward the story. I'll be doing a presentation on the trades, and I'll be doing a lot more coming up. It's going to be at 10 a.m. Pacific Coast Standard Time, not 1 p.m. East Coast Standard Time. It's only $79. And I'm excited about it, y'all, because they said, TJ, we want you to tell our young people about all of these amazing things that you're saying about welding, about the automotive industry, about carpentry. So can you come and we want you to speak to multiple students, large amounts of students. We want them to be in their classrooms so we can stream you live on the webinar so that you can be in the classes talking to the young people. Y'all, that's profound. Education, what do you call it? The technology system is amazing, y'all. I love it. I can sit down in my office and be chilling and put my computer in front of me and be talking to young people all around the world. That's at the same time. I love that. That is profound. I can share with them my knowledge of me building cars and me welding. How, when I told them, they came to me and said, TJ, what can we do? What topic can we teach these young people that is going to help them immediately right now? What can we do to turn around and turn this situation around to help these young people today? Okay, what is young people to you? TJ, we're trying to help these junior high schoolers, man. They are really lost. They're dropping out. These young girls are getting pregnant. These young boys are doing things that's landing themselves in the incarceration system, etc. So what can they do today? What can we teach them in school? What kind of things can they learn? I said, well, let's start them off with a trade. They said, okay, we've been considering that. We've been thinking about that. So they've been looking for people like me. So fast forward the story, I'll be talking about when I started talking to them about just welding, I said, well, welding is a big one. He was like, welding? I mean, I wish y'all could have seen the face in the meeting of the people who are looking at me like, welding? Really? They thought I was going to say something big, something different. And I'm like, no, welding, I've made a lot of money off of welding. It's a huge industry. There's not enough welders to go around. So when I started explaining to them how this stuff works out, they're like, they understood. They were like, wow, there's not enough people to go to supply and demand. They always say supply and demand. There's a huge demand and not enough people to supply it, right? So that's what they call the supply and demand. But it boils down to people are getting jobs. people are getting jobs. All they need to know is how to do it, and they're pulling them straight. Oh, we're gonna hire you straight out of high school, you know. So I'm loving that, y'all. Family, things are starting to change. So a lot of people think things is getting worse. Things are starting to change, and I'm glad that it's happening. And I just want y'all to know it so that y'all can be a part of the change when it happens. I don't want y'all to miss out on a great opportunity because you didn't think that there was no value in that. So that's why tomorrow I will be bringing all the big guns out, and I'm gonna be sitting here at the convenience of my own home with a computer, with my showing them all these pictures and videos and all the things that I can think of that's going to inspire these young people, that's going to have them going home telling their moms and dads that, hey, I want to take that welding class. I want to learn how to weld because I can start a business. That is a pathway to entrepreneurship. Learning how to weld is a pathway to entrepreneurship, and entrepreneurship is a pathway to manufacturing, and manufacturing is a pathway to possibly becoming a multimillionaire or billionaire because I created my own product and I made it myself. I started a business welding these things and building these things. I started a business of repairing these trucks or doing things like that. So the purpose of me coming on this weapon on this thing tonight, this platform, and talking about it is because it's important that you don't miss no opportunities. I don't want you to miss no opportunity that's going on when someone presents it to you. I don't want, just like I'm dealing with situations where we're trying to get the African American parents to take the classes from the automotive classes at the high schools. You'll see when I go on the field trips and stuff like that, it may be two African American students out of the 15 or 20 that goes with us. And I'm like, well, what's up with the parents? What's up with the African American students? Why we're not taking the automotive classes? And they're like, the parents don't want them to have the classes. They just don't put them in there. They don't see value in the classes. They don't see value in those classes. So that's the problem. So I don't want you guys to not see the value in it. So when you find out that your school is going to be teaching the automotive classes, welding classes, wood shop classes, sewing classes, all those type of things, don't sit back and think to yourself about what you saw, what you think might not work. Why don't you ask them why are they giving these classes and what support do they offer? Are they hiring? It all boils down to, can they get a job with a welding class? Can they get a job with carpentry class? Can they get a job with a masonry class if they teach that? And then what do they pay? You know, how easy is it? Will they have to leave the state? Will they be buried in student loans? Ask these questions. Don't just look down on it and think, oh, it don't come with a degree. But notice this, mark my words, don't be surprised if somewhere in the near future, if truck driving becomes a big payer of employment, becomes a very big employer, and they continue to pay 90 and $100,000 for truck drivers, hypothetically speaking. I know it's 90, but they continue to doing that. And then all of a sudden, those truck driving classes, which are 6 weeks or something like that. Don't quote me on that. I'm sure it's shorter than that. But those truck driving classes that are really short, all of a sudden you have to get a degree to get a truck driving license because some idiot is going to say, you know what, that's a good paying job. They need to get a better degree. We don't need anyone on our highways driving 18 wheelers that's only been in school for 6 weeks. We need them to know more about driving 18 wheeler because those trucks are dangerous. you know, that's called education system for you. We're going to take this away and put this big charge on there, and we're going to make you pay 100 times more than what it's been charged for now. I think people said it's $1,500, $1,800 to get a truck driver's license to learn how to drive a truck. Don't be surprised if all of a sudden you find out that the universities is trying to pull these trades, these classes, this careers into the universities. Y'all hear what I just said? When regular companies stop hiring and other companies start hiring, they're gonna want you to take classes to get things, to get licenses to do things that you never had to have a class longer than a few hours for, longer than a few weeks. Y'all better keep that. Y'all better think about that. That's why I tell people we have to be careful what we asking for. So anyway, getting back to it, I did this. I got on here to talk about this tonight, based on the fact that I want y'all to be prepared. Don't shoot it down before they present it to you. Y'all hear what I just said? I'm gonna repeat myself. Do not shoot down a trade when the schools present it to you. In fact, you need to go into the schools and request and demand that they turn around and start teaching these things. It's critical upon people's survival. We got young people who ain't got nothing to do. They ain't got nothing to do. They hanging on the corner, and then all of a sudden the drug man asks them, "Won't you sell some drugs or something like that?" Then they want to make money. They got to. They don't have no choice. I know how it go. I used to be a young man. I know how that opportunity goes. But when I was making money, what I'm saying? I'm over here making money fixing cars in my backyard. That illegal world didn't look too appealing to me because I was already making money. When I was younger than that, and people started giving me money to do little odd and end jobs, come clean out a garage, come change the brakes on this van, come and do help these people move. I was like, man, this is pretty cool. I'm making money doing these things at a very young age. So, you know, we got to open that door back up, family, and stop shooting things down, because our young people are making some hard decisions right now, which is landing them in a lot of trouble. And they can't wait to do what you did. They can't wait till they turn 18 to go to college before they can wait 4 or 5 more years. Now 6 years, was it 5 and 6 years to get all these classes before most people get a degree? It's out of control, family. We got to start teaching our young people at a very young age. Is when they old enough to learn how to play with this iPhone, we need to be teaching them how to hang ceiling fans, or at least telling them what it is, what it looks like. You put it together, but let them hand you the parts. Let them watch. Whatever they can do, let them do it. That's why whenever I'm working on a car, I will pull young people in. If it's possible, I will say, hey, young man, y'all want to make $10? Can you come help me with this? Sometimes I'll just pay them to sit there and watch me do it. Can you get that tire? Make it very simple for them so that they can say they've seen it before. They know how it works. Oh, yeah, I've seen TJ take that tire off before. Yeah, I've seen TJ hang that ceiling fan before. Yeah, he let me tighten the screws on putting that ceiling fan up. Or yeah, he let me stack the brick on that big brick wall, and he gave me $20 when I was finished. And they now they're inspired. So we have to start paying attention to this family, because these people are making off like bandits. You see it's all in the newspapers now where they're talking about jobs going untaken because African Americans or people lining up for universities where they're not guaranteed to get a job. It's not just me talking about it no more, family. I remember y'all was mad at me because I was the only one talking about this. Now it's not just me. It's made it to the national news. Nationally, it's being talked about that all of these trades, all of these truck driving, construction, carpentry, all of these manufacturing things that make people need to make manufacturing, we don't have the people to do them because we're not teaching these people. So fast forward the story, it's open, it's popping back up, family. It's popping back up, but we're gonna put a twist on it this time. We're gonna put the word entrepreneurship in front of it. So when they come in and say, hey, they're offering a welding class at this particular school, they're offering an automotive class, I want y'all to say, you know what? It's not about the automotive. It's not about not getting a degree. Your daughter or your son is not after the degree. They're after the entrepreneurship situation, because we need them to get that knowledge and do what TJ did and start a business and go back and hire people from the community and teach them how to start businesses so that they can go back and hire people from out the community. Y'all hear what I just said? And make it go on and on and on and on and on. Period. YouTube, can y'all please click like and subscribe? Facebook, can you please click like and subscribe, follow, or share these videos if you can? Instagram, can you please click like? Can everybody please share this video for me if you can? I appreciate y'all. Please sign up for this webinar tomorrow. It's only $79. And I'm gonna drop a lot of information and I'm gonna make your head spin where you're gonna say, wow, wow, I did not know that. Family, I was able to write this book because I've been in places most people have not been. I've done things most people don't even know exist, and I've made money in them, and a lot of people are making money in it. So that's why I was able to write a book like this. It's not just about real estate. This is about building Black ownership. Ownership does not just talk about real estate. I'm talking about entrepreneurship situations. So I talk about welding in the back of my book. I talk about all of these trades all throughout the book and the wealth that's being created with them. So if you don't have this book, please get you a copy of this book, Monetizing Gentrification, because this is also a workbook. I sold a lot of these to the schools around the country, and some are leaving the country now. I'm excited about that. My name has gotten overseas, and people are starting to order the book because it's a workbook as well. It's about, this book is sitting in schools. People are sitting in schools and flipping through the pages, reading this book and answering questions. And people are taking tests off of some knowledge that I had in my head as a tradesman, y'all. Y'all hear what I said? As a tradesman. So somebody said to me the other day, they said, now I don't want y'all to think I'm arrogant. I just thought it was interesting. Somebody said to me the other day, he said, it's very interesting when the smartest person in the room does not have a degree. He said, it's very interesting. And I said, why is it interesting? He said, because that opens our mind up to different opportunities. And I'm like, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, because I can't say stuff like that because I'm trying to get in. I'm not trying to make them think I'm better. But the reality is the person with the trade is always going to be a more global thinker, a person who's thinking more because he's the person who could fix things. He's the person that's going to keep things going. We were talking about Africa. I've been in discussions about going to Africa because Africa is building cars. So again, they've been reaching out trying to find African Americans that can build cars. And you know what they're being told? There's not a lot of us. They don't teach that anymore. And there's no Black people, African Americans that teach, that knows about cars. And then they found out, oh, well, TJ, he comes from the lowrider community, and he said he builds cars. And they said, really? We like to talk to him. You know what I'm saying? We like to talk to him. And that's how I did that presentation year ago. That's how I'm communicating and talking to people about that, because they need people who know how this stuff works. It's not just about how to build a car, or you have to be an engineer. It's about how to work on a car, how to put one together, how to come up with ideas, what's new, what's not being done out there. What can we create that's not being used right now that will make this car more appealing? Can you help us with that? Yes, I can. Yes, I can, because I was the guy who would, when new cars came out, for example, when cars came out back in the days and you would open the door up and the car would say door ajar, I would think to myself, wow, that would be cool if I could put that feature on my 59 Chevy convertible. One day I got into a Cadillac and I opened the door, and all of a sudden there was a Cadillac emblem on the ground. I'm like, whoa, look at that. Whoa, that will be cool if I put that feature into a Broham European Euro Brougham coupe. You know what I'm saying? So I made a lot of money off of just updating old cars with new technology. So now I'm very aware of what's out there and what's not out there. I think I started doing that type of stuff when back in the days, I saw when we started putting bumper kits on our cars back in the early, what was it, the late 80s, early 90s. I had a Monte Carlo, and I wanted to put a bumper kit on it. I really wasn't thinking about no bumper kit, honestly. I didn't care about that kind of stuff. But I saw this car, a Chrysler New Yorker. When the man popped the trunk at the grocery store, the button, he went in the glove box and then he hit the button, and then the bumper kit went boop, it tilted back, and the trunk popped up. And I was like, whoa, whoa, I want that on my Monte Carlo. I'm gonna put that on my Monte Carlo. That's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did. And I remember every time I would pull up in front of my buddies, I would pull up. I ain't got nothing in the trunk for them to see. I would pull up, I would reach into their glove box, hit that button, that bumper kit would boom, pop back, and the trunk would pop up. And they'd be like, whoa, we want one of those. This was before I had a shop. But this is when this is how it all got started. I'm sitting in my mom's backyard working on cars. And I decided, I said, I'm gonna cut this bumper, and I'm gonna figure out how to put that bumper kit on my Monte Carlo. And it's gonna look like it came that way. So this is some of the early times of me getting started. And that was welding, family. I had to weld that on. I had to figure that out. But me seeing ideas and checking out opportunities, like, wow, this particular people started that, but if we could put that on all these other cars, that'll be cool as an aftermarket product. So from being around that and doing that for decades of my life, over 20 plus years, I've sat back and thought about a whole lot of ideas automotive wise that don't exist. You'd be surprised people who came up with an idea and all of a sudden they're a billionaire now because they decided that, they tired of windshield wipers going. They want to make them slow down and go, be like, choo, 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 choo. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all thinking this cat is crazy, but you'd be surprised. Intermittent. There's a movie out about that. I love that movie about the dude who designed windshield wipers, and Ford stole his idea from him. They were saying they was fixing to buy it from him. Then all of a sudden they said, forget it. We're going to steal it. Ain't nothing he can do about it. We got billions of dollars and he over there broke. We're going to just steal it from him. So man, decades in court, and before you know it, this dude cashed out worth hundreds of millions of dollars because everybody that made cars on the planet realized he just solved the problem that annoyed people. Windshield wipers used to go choo, 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 choo. That was the only speed. Now, because of him, they call it intermittent windshield wipers. They go choo, 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 choo. See what I'm saying? So one little bitty idea of him thinking, I want my windshield wipers to go slower. All of a sudden, he became a billionaire because he had that one idea. He just made it where windshield wipers go slower. So yes, I have that kind of knowledge on the level of how can we take these automobiles and do some things that ain't been done yet. It's very simple, and I've been building cars long enough that I had those kind of ideas. And that's the kind of people they need, the people who got those kind of ideas, the people who know a lot about cars. So that's why I'll be doing this after explaining that to the schools and talking to them about their missing opportunities to create entrepreneurs within our community, opportunities to create jobs within our communities. They thought about that heavily and said, let's figure this out and get you in here. The next thing you know, it turned out let's bring more people on board and talk to more young people at the same time. We can do that through a webinar. It's like, really? Okay, cool. I go into these schools and I see the elaborate, y'all hear what I say? I see elaborate webinar systems to where technology is no joke, family, and schools are heavily being updated to accommodate this new technology. And, I'm speaking to schools and, you got thousands of students all around the world listening to me speak about something, I'm speaking to a school, a university on the other side of the planet from the convenience of my house. One time somebody brought me in on a webinar, and they was on the other side of the world, and I'm driving down the freeway. I just pulled over on the side of the freeway and then and started talking on the webinar. Another time I was interviewed and I'm driving down the highway. I'm in the back seat of a Lyft in a whole nother state, and I'm on my cell phone holding it up like this, and I'm giving a presentation of doing a 10-minute presentation talking to some young people in a whole nother state. And I'm in the back seat on the freeway of a lift. Y'all hear that? I love technology. It's just amazing. So anyway, family, tomorrow rising 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For only $79, you'll be a part of some amazing things, and the proceeds are going to help me to continue doing the things that I do. So we're making sure these young people that can't afford to get this book or getting books, we're making sure the young people, the schools that can't afford to bring people like me in to come speak to the young people can afford to get me in there, because when they talk about TJ coming there talking about trades and things like that, not too many people get excited. You know, if it don't end our young people up in universities, they don't want nothing to do with it. It's like, well, okay, what about the 10-year-olds that are dropping out of middle school? You know, what about these young people that are dropping out of middle school? What about these people that are having problems? These young people that are hungry today? They're like, that's just something they want to sweep under the rug, but it's starting to slap them in the face to the point where they're being forced to deal with it. It's in their head. The students are crying foul, saying their parents are homeless. They're having a hard time now. They can't afford to not, you know, so it's exciting. Again, they really been pushing me to give more webinars. So that's what I'll be doing. You know, to be able to talk to a high school, to be able to talk to a junior high school, an elementary school, that's profound, y'all. Giving them a chance in life. Like I said, it's nothing new. This is not anything new. I'm just talking about things that I was taught as a youth. You know, I had a mechanic class. I had a welding, not a welding. I had a carpentry class, a woodshop class, a sewing class. I had all these classes in high school, and they had a paint shop class before I got there. You know, and I was just very disappointed recently when I found out that they closed down the woodshop class at Centennial High School on my watch. I'm like, how did I miss that? They were like, you was out of town. You were out of town when it happened. I was like, that should have never happened in an economy like this, where construction is at an all-time high and there's not enough people to do it. They're closing down the woodshop class? Are you kidding me? You know, it's like woodshop is a pathway to becoming a multi-billionaire. Because why? Because all the developers I know are billionaires. You got houses that's starting off at $500,000 and going all the way up through the roof. And you know how to build a house, and ain't no reason why you ain't making 7 figures a year at least. You sell 4 or 5 houses. You didn't walk away with a profit of $1 million in your pocket easily. You know, so to find out a guy who started off in the high school, junior high school class, that had a carpentry class, a woodshop class, that learned about making cabinets, is a multi-billionaire now because he has a construction company and he makes the cabinets and the doors, and he building houses from scratch all by himself, and he trained all his people himself. I'm not surprised. That's nothing unheard of. That's normal in carpentry. But anyway, fam, I hope y'all can tune in and go on ahead and register for that. It's on Facebook. It's on eventbrite.com. It's called Creating Wealth Through Welding. Creating Wealth Through Welding, fam. Who we got on here? Charlotte, how you doing, fam? Jackie in the house. What's up, Jack? Lauren, how you doing? Lisa, how you doing? Prince, how you doing? A lot of interesting people. How y'all doing? I appreciate y'all. Lewis, how you doing? Jory, the welding starts at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can go on my website at thomastjlofton.com, and it should be on there under Eventbrite, or you can go straight to Eventbrite and to creating wealth through welding, or you can go to some of y'all, if y'all on my mailing list, I've emailed it to you already. So you can go to your email and click that link and register. Other than that, fam, it's there. Go to my Facebook page. I shared it on my Facebook page from Zoom. You should see something that says Zoom on there, and it should take you to that webinar. But it's only $79. It's going to be about an hour and a half, 2 hours. It depends on how many questions people ask. I've had webinars where nobody asked a question. Then I had webinars where 25 people asked a question. I was like, man. So that'll be the ones that's going to go overboard, but you don't have to stay all the way through it. And if you can't tune in for that time and you know you're going to miss it, go ahead and pay for the class and let me know that you're not going to make it. And I will send you out a copy of, I will send that link to you so that you can turn around and have that webinar. Or I'll have it on my website, Thomas TJ Lofton, under TJ's Wealth Academy. I'll put the webinar on my page later that evening or the following day so that y'all who haven't got a chance to see it can go ahead and order it yourself and watch it. Bring in your young people, family. It's very important that we put these young people in front of these webinars because I got a lot of knowledge and I'm trying to leave it to these young people, to our people, so that they can use it and make money off of this stuff. I'm out here writing books and doing things, writing, talking to schools and creating curriculums and all these things. I never thought I'd ever be doing anything like this. That wasn't even in my wildest imagination, family. So it's like change is here. I'm writing books. I look at a couple of my other homeboys and they write books, and I'm like, wow. You know why? Because we can do things that most people can't do. And the things that we can do are in high demand right now, especially with gentrification going on. Gentrification is purely nothing but the trades. People are building houses like never before. They're building high rises. They're building commercial buildings like crazy. They're relocating the jobs. This is why I wrote this book, family, because I saw some things that absolutely blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind after I started traveling the country. I said, this is unreal. This is unheard of. People ain't going to believe me when I start telling this kind of stuff. I better take pictures, work on in video, and make some presentations and show people, because I don't even believe the stuff I'm seeing. So I wrote this book, Monetizing Gentrification, Building Black Ownership. It's $31.95 to your door. You catch me in person, it's only $25. And family, it's a profound read. I talk about welding, I talk about the trades, I talk about wood shop, I talk about a little bit of everything, family. I'm talking about things that make people money. So tune in, family, pick that book up, tune in tomorrow, check out this webinar. I promise you it's going to change your life and make you say, wow, I did not know that. That's what I get a lot. I said, wow. People are like, wow, I did not know that. This one dude told me I was a motivational speaker. He said, you're the best motivational speaker I ever heard before in my life. And I'm like, I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm just a public speaker. He said, man, well, I'm motivated to go home and do some stuff. And I've been welding all my life. He said, that blew me out the water. I never thought about nothing like that. He said, you motivated me? I was like, I guess I am a motivational speaker too. So anyway, fam, let's get this information. Put some of these young people in front of it, family. And adults, y'all need to sit there as well, because you may want to reconsider what you're doing. Just like when somebody come to me and tell me something I don't know, it always opens the door for me to reconsider what I'm doing. I may have put a lot of time into learning something about something, but when somebody comes to me and say, TJ, this is better, I'm going to research what they're talking about. I'm not going to shoot it down. I'm going to look into it. I'm going to review it. I'm going to go ask some questions about it. I'm going to inquire, because I don't want to be sitting there the only one who didn't look into it. Like I said, I have too many examples of stuff I didn't follow up on. Years ago, someone came to me pitching me this thing called the internet. I was thinking, I don't need that crap. What I need that for? Somebody came to me, pitching to me, talking about this thing called eBay. I got on eBay on this thing called the internet and made more money than I probably ever made. And it blew my mind. The customers that I've been trying to find, all of a sudden I found them on this thing called eBay. International customers would increase my language and my conversation, which again gave me the situation to where I could write a book and have an international conversation. I got a webinar out called International Business. Matter of fact, y'all, check out my website. You go to TJ's Wealth Academy. I'm doing all my online training classes, and all my webinars are going on there for the training classes for y'all to take and get this knowledge. TJ's Wealth. Excuse me, my throat got dry. TJ's Wealth Academy, family. Water. Y'all should have seen me drinking my carrots, apples, ginger, celery, cucumbers, and what else? Drinks. But anyway, fam, I'm about to get out of here. I appreciate y'all. Go ahead, sign up for that webinar. It's only $79. You can go to my Eventbrite page, Thomas TJ Lofton, or creating wealth through welding. Creating wealth through welding on Eventbrite. Go to my website, thomastjlofton.com. You will see that Eventbrite page under the bottom of there, and that should be the only event that's on there because I'm setting up more events now. And you can also, again, it's on my thomastjlofton.com, the website, and you can also find it I shared it on Facebook. So the other Facebook page, I got to make sure it's on there as well. So please share this video with your family and your friends. Please click like if you're on YouTube. Please click like if you're on Instagram. Please click share if you're on any of my social media, fam. Please share this video to your groups and please, most importantly, if someone says, hey, I'm thinking about putting my son in the welding class or truck driving school or carpentry school, I want y'all to think about that on a level. I want you to say, yeah, he can become a manufacturer. He can become a millionaire if he started a business doing that stuff. So tell him learn as much as he can. Say that, family. We need encouragement because we got too many people saying negative things like, oh, that won't work. So we need people to inspire each other. That's why it's important that y'all take this webinar so that you can get all the ammunition that you need. So when someone say, how are we going to save these young Black men? How are we going to save these young Black girls? You can say, oh, do you know you can be very educated and answer that question and say, we can put them in welding. We can put them in carpentry. We can put them in this because I just watched TJ's welding webinar recently, and I had no idea the amount of money being made through welders who got their own businesses. Bam. Appreciate y'all, fam. I'm out. Don't forget to get that book on my website, thomastjlofton.com. $31.95 to your door. Signed copy with value. Appreciate it, family.